That morning, I thought it was just another normal day. I had just stepped out of the bathroom, a white towel loosely wrapped around my body, humming to myself, completely unaware. I opened the bedroom door and froze. Standing there with eyes wide open and lips parted in shock was my father-in-law. His eyes scanned me from head to toe, and for a moment he didn't blink. He didn't move. "Papa?" I whispered, clutching my towel tighter, but he said nothing. That was the beginning of everything. From that day, he changed. He would walk past my room and pause. He would stare too long, and then he started saying strange things. My husband was always at work, but his father, his own father, began haunting my every move. I didn't know whether to cry, to scream, or to run. What do you do when the man who's supposed to protect you becomes your silent predator? After that awkward morning, I tried to push what happened to the back of my mind. I told myself it was nothing, that maybe he was just shocked. Maybe it was an accident. But Papa started acting strange. He stopped knocking before entering. He lingered when talking to me. His eyes began to follow me, like a hunter watching prey. At first, I thought I was imagining things, but then came the night I will never forget. My husband had traveled for a business trip and Papa offered to stay in the house for protection. I was grateful. After all, he was like a father figure, or so I thought. That night, I was in the kitchen making dinner when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned quickly, and it was him, standing too close, too quiet, too intense. "Good evening, Papa," I said nervously, stepping aside. He didn't answer. Instead, he looked at me and said, "That towel you wore the other day, you looked like a goddess." My heart dropped. "Excuse me?" I asked, hoping I misheard. "I haven't slept well since then," he muttered, his voice low and shaky. "You awakened something in me. Something I buried a long time ago." I froze. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This was my father-in-law. I dropped the spoon in my hand, my fingers trembling. I slowly backed away, but he stepped closer. "You don't have to be afraid. Your husband is always busy. I can give you everything he doesn't," he said, licking his lips. I ran. I locked myself in the bedroom and cried. The man I respected, the father of my husband, had just made an offer that shattered my soul. But that was just the beginning. The worst was yet to come, because the next morning he told me if I said a word to anyone, he would destroy my marriage. He said he would lie and twist everything, and my husband would believe him, not me. I was trapped, and then he did something even worse. Here is your part 2. Longest and most emotional segment of the story. My father-in-law saw me on a towel, and he wasn't himself again. For days I lived like a prisoner in my own house. I started locking my doors during the day. I would double-check every window, every curtain, every shadow. I stopped dressing freely in my own home. I couldn't sleep at night. My ears were always alert for footsteps, creaking doors, whispers in the hallway. And Papa? He acted like nothing had happened. He would greet me in front of my husband with a smile so wide and innocent, you'd think he was an angel. But when no one was looking, he would wink. Or say things under his breath. "I can still see you in that towel." I was dying inside. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't, because Papa was smart. He began turning my husband against me, slowly but surely. He told him I was being disrespectful, that I was always avoiding him, that I had started locking doors and treating him like a stranger. My husband started asking me questions I couldn't answer without revealing the truth. And one evening, my husband shouted at me in front of Papa. He said, "What is wrong with you these days? Why are you acting like a stranger in this house? This is my father." Papa stood behind him with a smirk on his face. I broke down. I wept. I wanted to say it. I wanted to scream, "Your father wants to sleep with me." But I was afraid. Who would believe me? My husband worshipped his father, so I decided to leave. I packed a small bag and told my husband I needed to visit my sick mother. He didn't argue. He was angry anyway. That night, I left, but I couldn't stay away. My mother told me, "You have to fight for your marriage. If you don't speak, the devil will keep speaking for you." So I prayed, I fasted, I cried to God, and after a week I returned to my home, ready to confront whatever I would meet there. But what I met was worse than I imagined. The moment I walked in, my husband looked at me with disgust. He threw a set of photos on the floor, printed photos of me in a towel, taken from behind the door. Papa had secretly taken pictures of me and made it look like I sent them to him. I gasped in horror. I trusted you, my husband screamed. And you were sleeping with my father? I fainted. When I woke up, I was in the hospital, my head pounding, my soul broken. That was when the nurse handed me a small note. A cleaner had found it in Papa's old room. It was written in Papa's handwriting. If I can't have her, no one will. She should have just accepted me. Now I'll ruin her, her marriage, and her life. Tears dropped from my eyes. My mouth opened, but no words came out. He had planned everything. I sat on that hospital bed, numb. My world had crashed. My marriage was hanging by a thread. My reputation scattered like ashes in the wind. All because of one moment, one towel, one man's evil obsession. But God was not sleeping. The note Papa wrote became my saving grace. My husband, holding that paper in his hands, wept like a child. He couldn't believe it. He knelt beside my hospital bed and begged me to forgive him. We cried together, not just for the pain we caused each other, but for the storm we had just survived. Papa? He ran away. He was later found in another village, sick and alone. They said he kept calling my name in his sleep, begging for forgiveness that never came. Moral lessons. 1. Not every father is a protector. Some wear masks to hide their evil intentions. 2. Silence can destroy you faster than the lie itself. Speak up before it's too late. 3. Marriage is not just about love, it's about spiritual warfare. Be prayerful, be watchful. 4. God will always expose darkness, no matter how well it's hidden. 5. Lust destroys generations. Guard your heart and your home. To my beloved viewers, if you've watched this story to the end, thank you. From the depth of my heart, thank you. You are the reason I keep creating these real emotional stories that reflect what happens behind closed doors. Please don't just watch and scroll. Click the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell. Drop a comment below and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Stay with this channel because every story you hear here will change your life. I love you all. See you in the next story. God bless you.